Sí, í a ortí a is cuman am sa fuckfaí ein garda. Dúlín lástach tá mis ró gastan yekik tú mis ma yasa ró ada. I've been watching a lot of kneecap related stuff today. Stuff about how courageously they've continued and forcefully they've continued to speak for Palestine despite facing repercussions. And none of that was surprising to me. What was surprising to me is that I feel that the tide is turning. I feel that a shift is happening. And it's amazing. I kind of thought when they were speaking all along, I was happy they were doing it. I was proud that they were doing it, and I supported it, obviously. I didn't feel that, I guess, they were famous enough that it would make a large scale difference. But actually, the fact that they're doing it and the fact that the other side are getting so angry about it and persecuting them is making them more famous and also spreading the message further and making more people aware. So not only is it having the exact opposite effect of what their detractors would want, while Kneecap were taking a risk to their careers by doing this, speaking up so forcefully, as I say, it has had the opposite effect of what they might have feared as well, and what everybody else in the public eye seems to fear. It is having a positive effect on their careers. They're getting more famous. They're booking more stadiums. And I know they didn't do that with that goal in mind. And nobody would have thought that that would have happened, because the consequences are so strong and have been so strong for people speaking out. So it's incredible. And I just feel a tide shifting. And I want to read this quote regarding that and regarding the response of the youth to Palestine and the response worldwide, I would say, on a greater scale. What is it that the child has to teach? The child naively believes that everything should be fair and everyone should be honest, that only good should prevail, that everybody should have what they want and there should be no pain or sadness. The child believes the world should be perfect and is outraged to discover it is not. And the child is right. As I was looking at crowds today of young people at Kneecap concerts, young middle class people like myself, haven't probably experienced a large amount of suffering in their lives, supporting this message, it made me think about how kind of the role of the youth always is to stand up against the establishment, right? The youth has to rebel. The youth has to find, and if there isn't an immediate cause, you have to find one, it has to be found and it has to be done because that is the prerogative of the youth. And it also made me think how those of us who are born into privilege and middle class and, or upper class, what have you, it would be so easy, and the expected thing would be for us to accept. We are asked to accept war and human casualties in war, civilian casualties in war, women, children, and more, as just part of it, just as something that's an inevitability. And in the West, we profit off so much human suffering in other parts of the world, in Palestine, in other countries. There is so much that we already accept, or that we maybe don't know about. Maybe some people don't know about the human cost of a lot of our goods, services, lifestyle, our economies. But there's so much we already accept that we could have just gone along and accepted this as well on a larger scale. But we're saying no. For some reason, the young people, of course, it's not only the young people that are standing up against this genocide and the fact that we're being asked to accept it, but we are refusing. We're doing what generations of young people have done and what is the prerogative of the young people. We're refusing to accept that this is inevitable, that this thing is just a part of life, and that war is a part of life, and that carpet bombing from the skies is just a side effect of searching for Hamas. I feel that previous generations, times, similar things to this have happened in the Iraq War, etc. Previous generations of young people, we did accept it. I mean, I don't mean we personally. I was extremely young during the Iraq War. But I've been thinking a lot about how every generation we accept a little less of others suffering for our comfort and for the status quo and the world that we live in. And I'm really fucking proud of that. I guess it's kind of relevant to say I'm reading this book as well. It's called The Brutish Empire. It's about British colonial atrocities over 4 centuries. And you won't believe this, lads, but it's a bit grim. It's not the biggest laugh I've ever read. Every horror upon horror that you can imagine being visited among people was done by the British Empire, has been done by the British Empire, which no longer exists, thankfully. Again, it's this sort of thing about, I guess, what are we as a people asked to accept? People in that time, of course, they didn't know. A lot of the time, the common people in Britain didn't know what was happening in their colonies. But they were asked to accept brutalities, slavery, concentration camps, industrial schools, kidnapping, genocide of people in their subjugated countries, in order to maintain or improve sometimes the comfort of their own lifestyle. And at least the majority of them did. I feel that this is a watershed moment where it feels that more than half of the Western world, of these countries that profit from inequality on this issue, we're refusing to accept it. And we are saying, no, I'm not comfortable with these people suffering for the status quo. And that feels really historic, actually. I think we're seeing something historic happening here. Honestly, I don't know what I could even talk about today other than that would be anywhere near as impassioned. I don't think I could. I don't know what I'll caption this video or this podcast. I was going to do I'm moving to London and I'm scared part 2, because I am still moving to London and I am still scared. But this is what I wanted to talk about. And if I talk about something that, if I want to talk about one thing and I stick to my guns about talking about something else, that inevitably turns out to be shite and boring, because there's something else I'd rather be talking about and something else that I'm actually feeling impassioned for. But yeah, I'm moving in less than a week and a half now. I kind of realized over the last week or so that I think I had been living with a lot of sort of underlying terror that I had really tried to face it, and I'd really tried to take care of myself and be proactive in my kind of addressing of these things. But sometimes you just gotta wait for the freak out to come. So I had a bit of a meltdown yesterday, and I feel better since then. So sometimes you can try and manage the fear, address the emotions, but you just have to wait until the breakdown comes, and then you feel better after it. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm Sarah Bella, and this is my podcast, Insubordinate and Churlish.